Alright, let's get into it. Because what is happening in Dallas right now is nothing short of a seismic shift on the defensive side of the ball. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you need to sit back and really take this in. Brian Burns is no longer just another elite pass rusher in the NFL. He is becoming the undisputed defensive alpha in Dallas, the tone setter, the closer, the guy offenses are already losing sleep over before the week even starts. This isn't hype for the sake of clicks. This is a real transformation happening in real time, and the ripple effects are going to be felt across the entire league. From the moment Brian Burns arrived in Dallas, the energy around the defense changed. You could feel it in the way teammates talked about him, in the way coaches described his role, and in the way practices suddenly took on a sharper edge. This wasn't a player coming in to fit into an existing system. This was a player coming in to redefine it. Dallas didn't just add talent. They added authority. They added presence. They added someone who commands respect the second he steps into the huddle, not because he's loud, not because he talks trash, but because his play forces everyone to listen. Brian Burns' journey to this moment makes it even more compelling. This is a player who has always had the physical tools, the speed, the bend, the length, the instincts. But what we're seeing now in Dallas is the fully realized version of Brian Burns. This is a defender who understands exactly who he is and what he does best, and more importantly, how to impose that will on an offense. In Dallas, he's not being asked to be a complementary piece. He's being asked to be the guy, and he's embracing that responsibility in a way that's elevating everyone around him. One of the most striking things about Burns taking over as the defensive alpha is how it's changing the identity of the Cowboys defense. For years, Dallas has been known as fast, aggressive, opportunistic, but sometimes inconsistent. Big plays would come in bunches, but so would lapses. With Burns anchoring the front, there's a new level of stability and inevitability. Offenses know that at some point in the game, Brian Burns is going to wreck something. A drive. A third down. A red zone possession. He's the kind of defender who tilts the field without needing help, and that changes how offensive coordinators call games from the opening script. What makes Burns so dangerous in Dallas is how perfectly he fits what this defense wants to do. The Cowboys thrive on pressure, on forcing quarterbacks into bad decisions, on creating chaos. Burns doesn't just apply pressure, he weaponizes it. His first step is explosive, his ability to flatten around the edge is elite, and his closing speed turns pressures into sacks and sacks into momentum swings. But it's not just about the pass rush. Burns is playing disciplined, assignment-sound football, setting edges, reading plays, and making offenses pay for trying to outsmart him. Teammates have already started to talk about Burns differently than they talk about most stars. This isn't just respect for talent. This is acknowledgement of leadership. Burns leads by example in the weight room, on the practice field, and in film sessions. Younger players are watching how he prepares, how he studies tendencies, how he attacks weaknesses. Veterans are feeding off his intensity. When your best player works like he's still trying to prove himself, that standard becomes contagious, and that's exactly what's happening in Dallas. There's also a psychological element to Burns becoming the defensive alpha that can't be overstated. Football at the highest level is as much mental as it is physical, and Burns brings a quiet confidence that seeps into the entire unit. Defenders play faster when they trust the guy next to them. They take calculated risks when they know pressure is coming from the edge. Corners can sit on routes a fraction longer. Linebackers can shoot gaps with conviction. All of that traces back to knowing Brian Burns is going to do his job at an elite level snap after snap. Opposing offenses are already adjusting. You're seeing more chips, more tight ends staying into block, more backs hesitating before releasing into routes. And every adjustment made to stop Burns opens up opportunities for someone else. That's what true defensive alphas do. They don't just rack up stats. They create space for others to eat. Dallas interior linemen are seeing cleaner lanes. The opposite edge rusher is getting more favorable matchups. Blitz packages become more lethal because protection schemes are already stressed. The Cowboys coaching staff deserves credit for how they're deploying Burns. They're not boxing him into a single role. They're moving him around, forcing offenses to identify him pre-snap and then still guessing post-snap. Sometimes he's wide, sometimes he's tight, sometimes he's standing up, sometimes he's got his hand in the dirt. That versatility makes game planning a nightmare, because you can't just say, we'll slide protection this way all game. Burns has the football IQ and athleticism to thrive in these varied looks, and he's clearly enjoying the freedom. What's especially exciting for Cowboys fans is that Burns' dominance doesn't feel like a short-term spike. This feels sustainable. He's not winning purely on speed that might fade. He's winning with technique, timing, leverage, and intelligence. He's setting up tackles over the course of a game, showing one move early to unleash another later. He's reading quarterbacks' drops and adjusting his rush accordingly. This is high-level, veteran pass rushing, and it's happening right now in Dallas. The impact on big games is where Burns' alpha status really comes into focus. In tight contests, when everything slows down and every mistake is magnified, elite defenders become invaluable. Burns is the kind of player who can flip a playoff game with one snap. A strip sack. A drive-killing pressure. A fourth-quarter stand. Dallas has been searching for that kind of defensive closer, someone who can impose their will when the stakes are highest. Burns is showing signs that he can be that guy. Fans are starting to feel it too. There's a different buzz when Burns lines up. A sense of anticipation. A collective holding of breath, waiting for the moment he explodes off the line. That connection between star player and fanbase is powerful, and it feeds into home field advantage. Quarterbacks hear it. Offensive lines feel it. The stadium becomes part of the defense, and Burns is at the center of that energy. It's also worth talking about how Burns' presence reshapes the Cowboys' long-term outlook. This isn't just about one season. This is about establishing a defensive identity that can carry the franchise forward. When you have a true alpha on defense, you build around that. You draft to complement it. You scheme to maximize it. You create continuity. Burns gives Dallas a foundation they can rely on, a player who defines what Cowboys defense looks like in this era. Critics who questioned whether Burns could take on this role in Dallas are getting their answers. This isn't a player shrinking under expectations. This is a player thriving because of them. The bigger the spotlight, the sharper he looks. He's not just meeting the moment. He's owning it. And that's what separates good players from great ones, and great ones from true franchise cornerstones. As the season unfolds, expect Burns' influence to grow even more. Offenses will throw everything they have at slowing him down, and he'll continue to adapt. That chess match is where Burns shines. Every adjustment he forces is a win for Dallas. Every extra blocker devoted to him is a concession. Every hurried throw is a step closer to another Cowboys victory. When you step back and look at the big picture, it's clear that Brian Burns becoming the defensive alpha in Dallas isn't just a storyline. It's a reality that's reshaping the Cowboys' trajectory. This defense is faster, smarter, and more dangerous with him at the helm. The swagger is real. The dominance is real. And the message to the rest of the NFL is loud and clear. Brian Burns is here. He's in Dallas. And he's taking over. If you're excited about what Brian Burns is bringing to the Cowboys defense, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Cowboys news and updates.